And welcome everyone to another edition of Orlando Magic Pod Squad. This podcast is brought to you by Kia, official vehicle of the Orlando Magic. And it is my pleasure to welcome in Wendell Carter Jr., our latest guest here on Orlando Magic Pod Squad. You're on with David Steele, Jeff Turner, Dante Marchitelli. Did you notice how quickly George Galante bailed? If there's any work involved, do you notice that George is gone immediately?
I peeped that. I definitely peeped.
You did notice that. Okay. Even in your couple of weeks, you picked that up. Yeah, that's right. Well, hey, listen, we're so glad to have you here in Orlando. And I know Magic fans are excited to hear your story and get to know you here a little bit. But I got to ask you first, at the time of this recording, last night, Cole Anthony hit that big game winner.
Yeah.
We got to see kind of a little glimpse for a couple of minutes of kind of how wild Cole is. Take us behind the scenes. Who is the Cole Anthony that you know and you've gotten to know here the last couple of weeks?
Meeting Cole, he's definitely outgoing person. Says whatever is on his mind, whenever, doesn't matter where we at, who's around, he's going to say it. And last night, I think he definitely, after hitting that shot, emotions were everywhere. So he just kind of just let it all out, let everybody know how he was feeling. Behind the scenes, it was basically the same thing he was doing in front of everybody. So it wasn't nothing different at all.
It wasn't a Carolina Duke thing. I mean, there's a difference in personalities there. How would you describe that? Is that a Carolina Duke thing or is it something else?
I'm sorry. Someone keep calling. Oh, I'm sorry. It's I don't know. It's with me playing with Kobe White up in Chicago, they definitely share some similar personalities for sure, similar personality traits in my opinion. But it's not like he go to North Carolina, go to Duke, you're gonna be this kind of person or this kind of person.
No, I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, Wendell, take us. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dante. Go ahead, Dante.
I was going to say, take us through the last month or so. Ever since you've joined Orlando, the absolute whirlwind that it's been for you, and kind of the people you've had to meet, just kind of everything you've had to do, from finding a place to live, from meeting teammates, learning a new system. What this last month has been like for you?
It was kind of like getting drafted all over again, in my opinion. Coming to a new city, new teammates, new coaching staff, got to learn new plays. Like you said, looking for housing now still. But I feel like everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a beauty in the struggle. As soon as I came down here, we went on the West Coast trip. So, that was a whole different, thing I had to battle on my own. So, it was tough, when I first got down here for sure. Mainly off the court, but on the court, it's basketball at the end of the day. You go out there, you just play basketball. Everybody's strengths up. Watch plenty of the games before I got here, just to get a feel for what everybody likes to do. We just go out there and hoop. We all here for a reason. We all can play basketball, so that's not the hard part at all. It was just all the moving around and things like that. But I'm definitely good though. I'm 22 years old. I think I can handle it.
There you go. There you go. That's right.
Well, Wendell, I know you don't do all of that on your own, though, too. You've got people that help you. I would assume you got some family members that have helped you make the adjustment. And the Magic reach out and help players get accustomed to their new environment as well, correct?
Yeah. I definitely had some people from my mom, my dad were actually both living with me in Chicago. So they were able to kind of help me with this transition a lot. I got one of my best friends. He actually lives with me. Definitely helped me a lot. He actually was able to get a lot of my clothes down from Chicago to Orlando. Just the little things, they definitely helped me with. And then Reagan definitely helped me a lot. Becky helped me a lot too. And they definitely made the transition as simple as possible for me, for sure. So I can just come right in and just play basketball.
You know what, guys? This is interesting. You guys will get a kick out of this. He went to Duke University, right? We all know about the Cameron crazies and how wild it is. He made the comment that he was a little bit used to it because that's what he experienced in high school. So so take us back to Pace Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, and let us know. I mean, that had to have been one heck of an atmosphere if it was anything close to what you see at Duke.
Yeah, I mean, me being an honest person, Pace wasn't the best basketball team before I got there. So when I got there, it kind of, brought a spark there, sold out games every night, home games, standing room only. And if you actually would go to Pace, it gives you like Duke vibes, like the way the buildings look, all that kind of stuff. Like it's a pretty big campus for it to be a high school. So, and with that, I mean, the fans just were all on the court every game, yelling at the opposing team, making it very uncomfortable for them. Like I never seen anything like it. Then when I went to Duke, I'm like, oh, this is normal. I didn't know this is normal. Like, so I was definitely used to it for sure.
Wendell, where you were talking, obviously you went to Duke from Pace and everything. What other schools recruited you? Where, what was an alternative that Wendell Carter Jr. may have gone to college at?
Yeah, so my Final Four was Harvard, Duke, Georgia, and Georgia Tech. And the reason, if it wasn't for Duke, I would have probably went to Harvard. It would have been tough, in terms of what my long-term goals were, which was to get to the NBA. It would have been tough for me to kind of reach that goal, and I understood that. But, when my mom and my dad were both big on academics. And, like, even on my visits to Duke, they were wearing Harvard jackets and stuff like that, like, trying to make a statement, trying to, like, hey, he's going to Harvard. Like, y'all better pull out all the stops for him. So, Harvard was probably going to be my next choice. And actually, Mo Bamba, we kind of flirted with it for a little minute where we was going to both go there. But it didn't last long. And we both understood, like, it would be very tough for us to get to the next level going to Harvard. And the head coach there, what's his name?
Tommy Amaker.
Tommy Amaker. Yeah. He also
Duke
understood
guy.
that too. Yeah, Duke guy. And he definitely understood, like, man, it'll be tough for you to get to the next level, but, he definitely would try to do all he could if I went there.
We've talked about it amongst ourselves about looking around the NBA, just how many young players there are from the Atlanta area right now. It seems like the Atlanta area is just bursting at the seams with great basketball talent. You and Chuma, Colin Sexton, all in the same class. Okoro from that area, Davion Mitchell, and that's just in the last couple of years. What's going on with Atlanta area basketball? Why is it exploding right now like that, you think?
Actually, growing up, I've actually had my fair share with all of those guys you just mentioned. Colin, we go back to, I think, 5th grade, 4th grade. We played together for a little minute. Then he ended up playing with me when I got a little bit older with the CP3 team. Like, growing up, like, you saw the potential in all of us. Like, we were all really good. We were all well known, especially in the Atlanta area. And then, I mean, a lot of people say it's all about timing, chance, a little bit of luck, and we all those things lined up for us to get to the NBA. And I think it's an Atlanta thing for sure. Once we give an opportunity, we're gonna take it by storm, and we're gonna do the best we can. And that's kind of what happened these last couple of years. So that's why I think Atlanta is busting right now, for sure.
Wendell, it's funny. On the broadcast, David and I, we're always talking. One that amazes me is your fundamentals for a big guy. Some of the things that you do, especially defensively, and your footwork and everything. Tell us about the coaching that you've received, because it's got to be special. Maybe it's your dad, I don't know, but where does that foundation come from, that great coaching that you've received?
Yeah, it definitely came from my dad. My dad definitely had a huge role in pretty much all my development on the court. From being able to do a lot of things with my left hand to my jump shot to my drop step, my spin moves, everything I really got from my dad. And I just kind of took it and, tried to perfect it to the best of my ability. So I definitely give a lot of credit to my dad when it comes to my development. Like he gave me all that he had, you know what I'm saying? So he definitely, if I had to choose one person, it was definitely him for sure.
Wendell, why don't you let everybody know a little bit about your dad? Your dad has a remarkable story, and he's overcome so much. Was able to play professionally. He fell in love with the game of basketball, and it kind of just kind of let everybody know, as much as you care to, his story and how inspiring that may be for you.
My dad definitely had a very, very difficult upbringing. He was born an orphan. Both his parents died when I think he was around 13, 14 years old, and him and his brother really just had each other. He always preaches to me that he had to grow up really fast, and I can only imagine at 13, 14 years old not having no supervision. So I'm sure he went through a lot more things he probably hasn't even told me yet, or he probably would never tell me. I wouldn't be surprised, but he was able to make it out of that situation. Then he kind of just fell in love. His first love was football, and he fell in love with football. Then got hurt so many times. He was like, man, I can't keep playing this. Ended up playing basketball. Fell in love with that, and he took it as far as the game would let him. He ended up playing at Delta State, down in Mississippi when he met my mom. Then he played in Dominican Republic for a couple of years, and then he ended up breaking his kneecap. And then after that, that's when I was born, and he understood, like, he gave the game all he could. So it's time to move on, try to take care of the family. So he definitely has his background definitely built him. You know what I'm saying? He a lot of memories for sure for him.
No question. Remarkable story.
Now, your mom played college basketball as well. How much of an influence has she been in your development as a person and as a basketball player?
Yeah, she's more on the person side. If you ever get a chance to talk to her, she'll even tell you herself, like, she hated basketball. Like, she got to Ole Miss because she was tall. She knew how to play the game, but she hated running. She hated doing all that stuff. Like, she'll tell you herself that too.
That's great.
So, as a person, she definitely was just she just helped. Like, academically, that's probably was her thing. I couldn't play basketball unless I had all A's, probably up until about the 11th grade. She's taken me out of games before because I, try to hide my report card knowing I had like a C or a B or something like that. And she'll find it and be like, oh, no, you're not playing. Like, she's taken me out at a halftime of a game one time and told me I couldn't play no more. Like,
is that right? Well, you got to tell that story. That's
unbelievable. Yeah, it
was. What was the most embarrassing one for you? Give us the one that hit you the most.
So we were, I can't remember if this was my school team or my AAU team. Because in AAU, we would play sometimes like very, very early and we'll still be in school a little bit. So it was either AAU or school league. And I lied to her about my report card. Like, I just told her, like, yeah, I got all A's, like, I'm all good. And not my supervisor, but my teacher called her and, told her what my grades were. And, they had a certain expectation for me in class because I usually had all A's, but at this point I wasn't doing as well. Like, it just kind of happened like that. And then it was a really big game. It was like the quarterfinals of some tournament, or we was doing something. And we're meeting right before the game, and she comes up, says, Wendell, you're not playing today. I'm like, whoa, Mom, what you doing? Like, I felt embarrassed. I was a little kid at that moment. I'm like, Mom, chill, like, stop. She's like, no, you're not playing right now. Like, no. And then I didn't ask her why. I just started crying. I was mad. I was furious, and then that was it. I didn't play that game, and we ended up losing too.
Oh,
went home,
no.
just crying in my room all night. Like,
hey, you never forgot it though, did you?
Yeah, I didn't. Never.
I'm wondering, did your coach
amazing.
at the time? I bet he didn't mess with your mom, did he? He didn't even argue with her.
Oh no! It was yeah. You can't. When she got her mind made up, you ain't changing it. You're not changing it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, what do they think about Orlando? Have they had a chance to do much, or what are their thoughts about Orlando and about your new situation?
Man, my mom in particular, she loves Orlando. When I was a kid, every year, every summer, we used to come to Orlando just to go to Disney World, Universal, stuff like that. So we always, as a family, love to come to Orlando. So now that I'm in this situation, when I found out I was coming to Orlando, I already knew my mom was gonna want to move down here for sure. Like, she loves Orlando. She loves anywhere that's hot. She got access to a beach, water, somewhere. That's her speed right there. And yeah, she definitely loves it. My dad loves it. He's more on the basketball side. I think it's a great opportunity for me, a great opportunity for the team as a unit. So they're both definitely very excited for sure.
You guys don't see it. I get to see them. Yeah, I get to see exactly. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of people coming to visit.
Oh, yeah,
I see them.
Sure.
I see them at every game. I see your parents, Wendell, at every game, and they're having a great time. And Jeff, you can relate to this, but you get feedback at the end of every game. I'm sure you get a ton of text messages, and everybody's telling you what you did right or wrong. And what do they tell you? Are they the ones that are the most honest with you after a game?
My dad doesn't even text me after games because he's played at the professional level, and he understands, like, you have good games, you have bad games. Like, he gets it. So he never really tries to overwhelm me, knowing I have coaches, I got trainers, you know what I'm saying? I got people who's also helping me out in that aspect. So he kind of tries to stay out of it and just be my dad.
Well, that's good.
My mom, she'll just tell me, just keep your head up, play hard. You can't control whatever. Just control what you can control. That's usually always her message. Like, she never's like, man, you got to make more shots. So you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, it just control what you can control. And because all this is already written, everything it's all happened before. So that's kind of where she's at with that.
That's great. That's great.
We were wondering about your on-court. We've talked about this, Jeff and I, a lot on the air. Your on-court chemistry with Chuma.
Yeah.
It jumped out at us really early. Is it real? Are we seeing what's really there? Or what is?
Do you even like Chuma? That's what we want to know.
Right? Exactly. Chuma is definitely my guy. With us both being from Atlanta, like we played a lot together, a lot of basketball, a lot of traveling together, and it's crazy how it all came full circle. We ended up playing in the league together, and when we out there, I don't know. I think we just both had that certain feel for the game that's pretty similar. Especially whenever he's playing like the 4. A lot of teams like to try to switch the 4 and the 5. So it definitely makes it easier whenever we're doing pick and roll or anything like that, dribble handoffs. Like, it makes it a lot easier because he's at the 4, and a lot of 4s really can't guard him. So, it just makes it easier for me whenever I'm going in pick and rolls or whatever with him. And he just makes the right read every time, So that's definitely something that's going to be a good thing for us in the future.
But do you like Chuma? Is he?
He didn't really answer that, did he, JT?
He didn't answer. See, that's the thing. He said earlier, he and Mo Bamba.
Right.
But we just want to know. We're just inquiring minds. We want to. Do you like Chuma?
Yeah. I like Chuma for sure.
That's great. That's great. Let me ask you this. So the other night, last 2 games against Memphis. You're on the floor, and there are 3 other Duke players on the other roster. As you go around the league, and you're playing these teams with other Duke players, I always hear that Carolina has this. All of the players keep in touch through the through the years. I heard Vince Carter said he's on a text thread with 50 former players going back to Sam Perkins in '84. And is it like that with Duke? Do you guys, I mean, do y'all stay in touch like that through the years?
I think it's more so your class. Like my class, I've kept in touch with everybody that was on my team. Like the ones that's in the league, the ones that's not in the league, like we're still all pretty close. Marvin, Grayson, Trayvon Duval, Gary Trent, like we're all pretty close. So it's not like I'm still cool with Justice and Tyus and then all of them. Like I'm still close with them, but it's just a different kind of relationship. Like those guys I went to class that I went to Duke with, like we got a much tighter, much better relationship than I do with the ones who came before me or after me.
You know, Wendell, I think Magic fans are getting excited seeing what the future of this team can be. When you think about what you guys have already kind of started to put together, we've had some terribly exciting finishes here, especially, you know, one with the game winner with Cole the other night. But do you look at this core, you know, with RJ, with you, with Cole, Chuma, you know, all these guys and Mo, and think about, man, this time next year, this could be awfully exciting in this town?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we definitely got the potential, in my opinion. We got all the pieces. You know, just with some practice time. You know, a lot of people take that for granted. Like just to go up and down with each other, just to run through some sets, get the chemistry going, get the timing on point. Like that makes a huge difference. You know, and then with this off season coming up and training camp, I think that's going to, especially with us being so young, I think that's going to be like really, really huge for us. So I'm definitely excited, man. I know next year is going to be a great thing for us.
We see you working with Mike Batiste, the assistant coaches. What's the next step for you? Where in development? You're a young player. Like Jeff said, you've got amazing feel for the game. You got great footwork. You've got a lot of things going for you already. But what's next for you in your player development?
Stretching the floor, being more consistent from the outside. That's something that the whole coaching staff kind of uttered to me that, for me to go to that next level, kind of what Vooch did while he was here, just expanding his game, and that just opens the court up for everybody. Just being a threat from the outside. I definitely think that's the next step for me. I'm just improving on my defensive abilities, being able to switch out on the guards, being able to switch out on the other shooting guards and other forwards. Other than that, I think that's really the two main things that going into the offseason I'm definitely focused on.
Do you like the physical nature of the game? Do you? It looks like you kind of enjoy the contact. We discuss it on the air a lot. You don't back away. You'll go out there and bang with the biggest, strongest guys in the NBA. We've seen that already. Do you enjoy the contact?
Yeah. That was something my dad also preached to me. Never be the second one getting hit. Always initiate the contact. That's all. He always preached that. So it definitely stuck with me for sure.
It's interesting, Jeff. Who was it that tried to back him down the other day and Wendell didn't move? Was it Jonas? Just slammed right?
Jonas tried to go left shoulder into you, and I think they did call the foul on you, but he's the one that fell backwards. So we were definitely talking about that.
Can you learn that, or is that something you have or you don't? Like you have that. Can other people learn that, or is that just something guys have or not?
No, you definitely can learn it. It's like, because in my first year, I struggled with picking up fouls a lot. Like I averaged like 4 fouls a game. Like, because I was using my hands too much, doing too much. Like, but it's definitely like, especially on post defense, you definitely can play at a certain technique and use your leverage against them, especially where you're not the bigger person in the scenario. Just being able to use your leverage, get lower, and especially since they let us use a forearm, I feel like you definitely need to use it so you can hold them up a little bit. So it's definitely a technique to it, and I actually learned it when I was in Chicago, and it definitely works for sure.
That's great. Well, I got one more. We got a couple, probably about 5 or 6 questions from fans that we wanted. You can just go through them really quick. But before we do that, I got to get your thoughts on Steve Clifford. Steve Clifford, in your 3 weeks, 1 month, your impressions of Coach Cliff. He's very direct. He knows what he's talking about. He's always prepared. You guys have looked like a team from the second you all got here. It's amazing that he can do that. I'd love to get what it's like on your end working with Coach Cliff.
Man, I love him as a coach. Love him as a person too. Like, you know, I can tell just from his energy when I first met him, when I first got to Orlando, that, you know, he's all about helping the player. He's a player-driven coach. And he's also all about winning, no matter the scenario, no matter it's the last game of the season, we have no chance of getting the playoffs. He's a person I know that's going to go out there and try to win that game, you know, and I can always respect that. He doesn't buy into politics. He doesn't buy into the outside noise. He's legit, in my opinion, and you know, I'm always going to back him no matter what he says. Like, I'm behind him no matter what.
Well, that's awesome. And I think we all agree, we can see he's behind you. He's a big fan of yours already.
Huge fan of yours, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, this is a good question. Why do you wear the number 34? I don't know that I've heard that story. So where did that come from?
My dad wore 34 all his life. He started off as 35, then he changed it to 34. But, yeah, he did. And my favorite player being Hakeem Olajuwon. That's also another reason, but it definitely started with my dad.
We got one dad.
Hakeem Olajuwon. I like that.
Nice,
That was one of the questions, sort of, about his favorite. But here's another one along those lines from a fan, Wendell. Who's your favorite teammate that you've played with, whether it be high school, college, NBA? That's from a fan.
See, he didn't say Chuma right away.
Single anybody out.
I know they're close.
Jeff's fishing for something. He's on to something.
No, David's been telling us that they got great chemistry, how close they are. I was like, slow down. Maybe they're not. I don't know.
He keeps saying they may not even like each other.
They may not like each other. They're good teammates.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Probably, we ain't had enough. If we've played a full year, I'll probably say Chuma, but we ain't played that much, so it's like I can't just make my favorite teammate yet.
No, I understand.
All right. No.
Yeah. Probably my favorite teammate would probably been Chris Dunn in Chicago when he was there. My first 2 years. He was a great teammate, even when he wasn't playing. He was just a great teammate. That's about it.
And what makes a great teammate? What made him special?
So he was a leader, and his way of leading was vocally. Like, he was going to let you know what he thought would work, what didn't work. And, he liked confrontation. Like, if you felt like it wasn't that, you can have that conversation. We would still go out there and just play our game. He was very mature. He didn't feed into the emotional side of it. Like, this is basketball. We're going to come in, we're going to talk about it, and let's go out there and do it. So that's someone, he was, very direct and honest at the same time. So I definitely respect him.
Yeah.
So your favorite player was Hakeem Olajuwon. What was your favorite team, NBA team, growing up? Did you have a favorite?
Nah. I just kind of I had favorite players, but I never really, rocked with one team.
Not a big Hawks fan? You grew up there in Atlanta? The Hawks weren't your team, huh?
Nah. Yeah. Rarely watched the Hawks. Probably went to like 2 or 3 games, but yeah, wasn't a huge Hawks fan.
That's great. You told me a couple of days ago he's a big movie buff, guys, and he likes the thinking movies, right? He likes to dive into that. But you didn't mention Avengers. Are you into that at all? This person wants to know your favorite Avenger. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, okay. I'm probably gonna have to go with the Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that because we got a Human Torch. You got a Human Torch as your teammate.
Yeah. We got that. Right?
Can you guys make that happen? Can we work Wendell into a couple of Hulk smashes on the podcast?
Yeah. Hey, I'm with that. I like that.
Okay.
Good.
We can do that.
We're on to something. A little Hulk smash after a couple of dunks. Good.
Yeah.
Wendell, I think I know the answer to this one, but maybe not. This is from a fan. Funniest player on the team.
Chuma.
That's unbelievable to me.
I know.
He's been here 2 years. I've heard him say 6 words.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He don't even try to be funny, and he's just funny. Like he's so like monotone. He doesn't really raise his voice or anything. He just
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Is it dry? Is it a dry sense of humor?
Yeah, it's a dry. Yeah, for sure, definitely very dry.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
We're gonna work that out. Pancakes or waffles? This person wants to know. Pancakes or waffles?
Going with waffles. Yeah, I'm a waffle guy.
All right, fair enough.
Is there another one we got time for? JT, you got one more off the list?
Well, I was just looking. It says, fan wants to know if you could go against any team, past or present, which one would it be? That's a tough question.
Definitely go against. I definitely want to go against the 96 Bulls for sure. Just, go out there, test my abilities, see how it is. See Michael in person. Never seen him play in person before, so that'll be, and try to win that game. Yeah, for sure.
2.5 years in Chicago. They probably didn't mention that team times when you were there, huh? The 96 Bulls. You probably didn't hear about that every turn. All right, last thing, because we get excited thinking about this, and David and Jeff have brought it up a couple of times on the broadcast. At some point next year, Wendell Carter Jr., Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, right? And then you can feel it. Maybe it's Chuma and Cole, whatever the other two look like. How excited do you get thinking about what this team is going to look like, not only next year, but for the immediate future?
Man, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, man. Just knowing where Markelle's came from, where Jonathan's came from, like those are two fantastic players that each year have gotten better. And I, having great faith that they're going to come into next year and give it all that they got. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely excited, man. I'm super excited to play alongside those two players, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, we're excited. We're excited, and we get you down for 67 wins next year. So we're going to hold you to that.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
Oh, this is great, Wendell. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time. It's been great getting to chat. Hopefully, we can meet you in person sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Good luck the rest of the way. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man.
All right, you got it.
Thanks, Wendell.